Mensuration. Let's talk about mensuration. So this is a topic where we look at shapes. So there's two major sections. We're going to talk about plane shapes and we're going to talk about solid shapes. So we're going to start off by looking at plane shapes. Plane shapes are shapes that do not rise above the ground. They are simply flat shapes. We're interested in two things. We're interested in finding the perimeter and finding the area of the shape. Perimeter is the distance around a shape, right? The distance around a shape is what we call the perimeter. So for example, if I have a shape like this with these sides 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters, my perimeter will be equal to 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 5. I'm adding up the sides to get 18 centimeters, right? That is my perimeter. The next thing now is the area. The area is the amount of space covered by the shape. So you're saying, how much space is this shape taking up? Now, area has got the units that are commonly used, right? There's centimeters squared, meters squared, kilometers squared, and even hectares, right? 1 hectare is equal to 10,000 meters squared, and 1 kilometer squared is equal to 100 hectares. So these are just some conversions which can be useful in some questions. So our common units: centimeters squared, meters squared, kilometers squared, hectares. These are the common ones, not the only ones, but the common ones. And some conversions which I've seen in quite a number of papers. 1 hectare is 10,000 meters squared, and 1 kilometer squared is 100 hectares. Now, what you need to understand about area is that for area, you need different formulas depending on the shape, right? So we're going to go through 6 basic shapes, and we're going to look at the formulas for finding area of those 6 basic shapes. The first one being the rectangle. The rectangle. So a rectangle is a 4-sided shape, right? 90 degrees at every corner, with a longer side length and the shorter side width. Area of a rectangle is given by length times width. So you simply multiply the length and the width. So if you have 5, 4, you say 5 times 4, you get your 20 as your area. So that's the formula for calculating area for a rectangle. The next shape is a circle. We have a circle. So for the circle, you have a radius. A radius is a line from the center to the circumference. So that's the radius. I'm going to call it R. Area of a circle is given by pi times radius squared, or simply pi r squared. That's how you find area of a circle. Now, pi is a constant. Sometimes pi is given as 22/7 or is given as 3,142, but your calculator also has a pi, which is the most accurate value for pi, but sometimes it's given as 22/7 or 3,142. Just do what's relevant to your syllabus and the question. Now for the circle, you can also find the circumference, which is the distance around the length of this boundary, right? Which is 2 pi radius. So don't confuse the two. This is 2 times pi times radius, and that's different from the area, which is pi times radius squared. Let's go to our next shape, which is a triangle. which is a triangle. Now for a triangle, we have the base and we have the perpendicular height, h. Area of a triangle is equal to half times base times height. Okay, so half times base times perpendicular height. That's a triangle. However, there are situations where you come across triangles where you're not given the perpendicular height. So you're given two sides, but you're not given the perpendicular height. Maybe this side is A and that side we'll call it B. And then in between the two angles, you have you have an angle that we'll call theta. In such a scenario, our area is given by the formula half times A times B times sine of theta. So half times length of that side times length of that side times sine of the angle between the two sides that you're looking at. So there are two formulas for calculating area of a triangle. Use the one applicable depending on the question. Our fourth shape is a parallelogram. Parallelogram. Right? And the parallelogram also has two formulas. So what is a parallelogram? It's a shape where opposite sides are parallel and equal. So this side is parallel and equal to that side, and that side is parallel and equal to that side. For a parallelogram, you can also identify a perpendicular height and a base. In such a case, our area is equal to base times height. So area of a parallelogram is given by base times the height. Now there are some cases where you are not given the perpendicular height. So you have A, you have B, then you have an angle theta in between A and B. So what do? In such a case, the area is given by A times B times sine of the angle theta, right? So area of a parallelogram is AB sine theta. It can be base times height or AB sine theta depending on the situation. Our fifth shape now is a trapezium. Our fifth shape is a trapezium. A trapezium has only one pair of sides that are parallel, right? So I have a side here and a side there. And these two sides are parallel. So A and B, we'll call them A and B. And then you can call the perpendicular distance between them h. So the area of a trapezium is half of A plus B times h, right? Half of A plus B, you add the parallel sides and then you multiply the result by the perpendicular distance between the two sides. So that's a trapezium. The final shape is a square. A square has got all four sides equal. So the length of one side is equal to the length of the other side. So the area of a square is just multiplying the two sides there. So those are the 6 basic shapes, 6 elementary shapes that you must know. Probably the most important shapes in the whole topic. You need to know the formulas for finding areas of those shapes. It's very, very important.